God, this is the Noize Report. You know what we do here? We laugh, we have fun, we interview cool and interesting people. And this time, after many screw ups on my part, um, and extreme patience on this gentleman's part, for
It's all good.
um, I am so honored to have him. This is Mr. Rob Rise on Belief.
Yeah.
He's an amazing musical artist that was sent over from Nika. Nika, is it Nika? How you say
That's
it?
it. Nika,
Nika.
Nika Cadet.
Um, amazing uh, PR person, and we did. If you guys remember, we did the AJ Mathers interview through her, and now we're doing this gentleman. He has a great record. It is called Bright Fame, and really impressive music. So we're going to talk to him about it and just a lot of other stuff. And then after we're all done with that, we're going to do the music gods, random questions of stupidity to end it all because that's what everyone gets to go through. So,
Yes.
how are you today, man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing real good today. Had a nice, good, relaxing day, so I'm ready to go.
Awesome. Yeah, I got a little bit of money today, so we went out to eat, took the little one out, and got him some PlayStation stuff. And
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
it's always nice. We him and I went through a brutal divorce last year,
Oh,
so
wow. Okay.
I got sole custody, so I try to treat him as much as possible when money allows it, and it's he's such a great kid, man. That
That's beautiful, man. That's what fathers do. That's
yeah,
what
yeah,
fathers do.
he's my pride and joy, man. He
Ah,
just
that's great, man.
um. So let's talk about this record. The record is called Bright Fame.
Actually, that's the name of the album.
Pardon me?
The name of the album is Bright Fame.
Right, right.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
Okay, sorry.
so give a little background on it, a little background on yourself, actually, to kind of
Okay.
start so that people know who you are and kind of where you're coming from.
All right. Well, my name is Rob Rise on Belief. I'm an artist from Brooklyn. I've been performing for a very long time. I did the New York circuit like CBGBs, with a whole lot of places that, been rocking out, and just I did CBGBs. My mind is a little slipping, but
No,
I
you're
rocked out
good.
at a lot of places. And I have a 7-piece band, you know, two background singers,
Nice.
bass, drum, guitar, keyboard. Basically, I write my music. I'm also the lead singer. I do backgrounds, and music is something that has been a part of my life. I grew up in a musical family.
Awesome.
My uncle is a part of the group called the Delroyds back in
Oh
the day.
wow.
Oh, so you know about the
Oh
Delroyds?
yeah.
Bermuda Shorts. My mom was a singer, and she also was a songwriter. And they had me performing at many places at a young age. So I actually kind of, honed my craft at a very young age. I went to the High School of Music and Art. I studied at the Brooklyn Conservatory of Music. I
Wow.
sang opera. I'm operatically trained, and I like
Nice.
music. Music is my life. It's what I like to do. And when I'm singing, I'm putting my all into my songs, into my performances, because when I come out there to perform for my audience, I want them to feel it. I want them to
Mm-hmm.
walk away knowing that I touched them, made them happy, made them cry, help them
Mm-hmm.
get laid, what I'm saying, those types of things.
Yep.
So that's basically what it's about.
That's the way to do it. Like I'm a music fanatic.
Right.
Um, I wouldn't call myself an audiophile so much because I'm not really big into the whole, you got to have this speaker, this and that. But music wise, I listen to literally everything. I have like 2.5 million songs
Wow, wow.
and about 100 genres from all over the world. So,
Okay.
I'm the guy who I will listen to Slayer, then Charlie Daniels, then Bob Marley, and then like Blue October.
There you go. There you go.
My favorite band is Pink Floyd. I grew up on Southern rock because my dad's a trucker. But
So
we had
Sweet
a
Home
lot,
Alabama, huh?
yeah, and my grandfather, when I was home with him while dad was gone, he would listen to Hank Sr. and Farron Young and Hank Snow and those guys.
Okay.
And then my stepmother, once my dad remarried, she was a Motown addict. And, we got all of that. And I know I may not look like it, but next to metal, doo-wop is one of my favorite.
So you do know the Delroys, okay?
Yeah, like there's I will sit in my studio and I will listen to doo-wop music.
Okay.
And even my mother, I was in the kitchen cooking one day and I was singing along to these doo-wop songs.
Right.
And my mom was like, I didn't know you could sing. And I was like, I was literally in a metal band. He's like, well, yeah, but all you did there was scream a lot. And I was like, that's true. I did. It was more of the low end vocals and the growling stuff. But she literally didn't know that. And I was singing along to like Frankie Valli and Rama Lama Ding Dong and stuff like that. And she's like, I didn't know you could do that. I was like, I can. I just don't because I'm not a great singer.
We have a similar background in music, just like you, the same way. Rock, metal, opera, jazz, all of it. It becomes a part of us. It's who we are. It's who we are. And we might necessarily look like we listen to all styles of music, but if someone was to play Pavarotti, they were, how do you know that song? I'm like, I grew up listening to it. I studied opera, Oche Sate, Caramillo Ben.
Yeah.
All the metal bands. Back in the day, I listened to all the metal bands. Meshuggah, all the guys like that, and Lenny Kravitz, Living Color. I'm also a Stones fan. So I grew up listening to the Rolling Stones, the Beatles. All of that is a part of my make, is a part of my music, is a part of who I am.
Yeah. I have this weird relationship with the Stones in the sense that I'm not really a Stones fan.
What?
But I give them all the credit in the world.
Okay.
Because here's the thing, 60 plus years as a band, everything that they've done, even me being not a huge fan of the music, you still can't not look at them and say 60 years is 60 years.
That's a long time.
I mean, it's a hell of a career, and they've done things that other bands simply didn't do it. And they've done it with a core group of guys that's pretty much stayed the same.
Yeah.
Which is very hard to do over even a 10-year period, let alone a 60-year period.
Right.
So I respect them greatly. I'm just not a massive fan of the songs themselves. Like, I don't dislike them, but it's not something I would like.
Well, my ultimate band, to me, my ultimate rock band is Queen, period. Freddie Mercury, period. All of them. All the bands that I've grown up listening to, even the bands now, the new rock bands now, no one can touch Freddie Mercury's vocals. Those guys made exceptional music. Exceptional.
Yeah. I mean, if I had to do my top three, number one would be Pink Floyd. Queen would be just a hair below them, and then probably The Cure.
The Cure. I like The Cure. Yeah, The Cure is
just because they're so different. Like The Cure comes from a spot where, they're not really punk, but they're not really new wave. And they kind of started the whole kind of proto rock alternative punk type of thing, because Robert was a part of Susie and the Banshees before he was in The Cure. And Susie was one who, she was so far ahead of her time with the way she sang. And, for those who know her music, she's not really a voice you just instantly get into. You kind of have to assimilate to her because her voice is very jarring if you're not used to her style of singing.
But she created a style. That's what she did.
And that's what's great about music. But, going back to Freddie, I think to me has always been what made Queen so much or so important to me was the fact, not so much that Freddie was probably the greatest entertainer that ever lived, possibly except for maybe Prince,
and Michael.
Right. It was the fact that Queen never got locked into a style.
True.
Queen literally just said, screw the rules. We're going to do whatever we want. And they would turn around and do Good Old Fashioned Loverboy. And then they would do Best Friend. And they would do Stone Cold Crazy. And then they would do Flash Gordon. And it was all of these styles thrown together in a way that you never knew what was coming next.
So true. So
you know,
true.
And some bands have been very, very successful sticking to a style. AC/DC, you know exactly what AC/DC was going to do.
That's right.
The Stones, you know where the Stones are coming from. You know where the Beatles are coming from. Right. Queen was the band that you never knew what was coming next. It could be anything, but it was always amazing.
That's true.
You know? So that's what always drew me to Queen, was just that.
You never knew where they were coming from, and you're absolutely correct about that.
And they were great at it. Like Freddie literally could sing or write anything. Like
he could. He was awesome. He was awesome. And
you know,
that's how I try to bring my music across. I mean, each person that we spoke of is kind of the influence of this album, Bright Fame, that I put out. Put out. You can hear a little bit of the rock. You can hear a little bit of, a little bit of hard rock in the song Mirror Mirror. You know, you can hear the classic rock style in it.
There's some bluesy riffs, some soul,
bluesy riff. You also have like a little Latin flair in it, and Fly Away. So basically, it's all and it's all real instruments. Nothing on my album is, how I will say, computer music. You know what I mean? There's no auto tune, nothing like that. It's all real singing, all real instrumentation, and it was recorded at Avatar Studios. Nice. I don't know if you're familiar. I'm sure you're probably familiar with Avatar Studios. The people that we spoke of, they all recorded at this particular studio. It's been taken over by the college. I forgot the name of the college, but the music college in Boston, I think. I forgot the name of it.
Oh, Berkeley?
Yeah, Berkeley. Berkeley took it over, and they kept it the same, and they still allow big artists to come in and record it. So a lot of preparation, a lot of time, a lot of planning, a lot of professionalism. Recording at one of the best studios went into this album, Bright Fame. And that's why when people listen like yourself, I get a lot of great reviews from people like, wow, I wasn't expecting it. It's so recorded well. And like all this melting pot is influence that is in my music. And you can hear it in the album. You can hear it in the song. You can even, like I said to you earlier, since you know of Doo-Wop, my uncle who sang with the group the Delroys. As a matter of fact, if you go back and look up the name the Delroys, you realize John Blunt, you'll see him in like a photo. That was my uncle. We kind of look alike. But anyway, his influences, gospel, all of this is in the album, and you can feel the style and listen to it when you hear the song. I'm sure that's what you get,
Yeah, there's so much in this record that being the music freak and fanatic that I am, I always hear little things that other people kind of don't hear, or I'll compare it to something that other people I think some people take the lazy way out and compare stuff to something that's completely obvious. True. I mean, I could easily say vocally, this sounds a lot like Living Color, Corey.
A compliment.
But it's kind of, to me, that's kind of a lazy comparison.
Thank you. I like that. That.
When truthfully, I think Lenny Kravitz is maybe a better comparison mixed with some Huey Lewis. I hear a lot of the kind of fun, soulful playfulness that Huey and those guys used with their music, and
I like that.
I'm a huge Huey Lewis fanatic, and just again on Fly Away, where it opens with the bluesy riff and then goes into the kind of Spanish guitar type of thing.
Right.
track 4, Music Saved My Life, is I
Thank
was
you.
listening to that song and I just kept thinking to myself, this is literally like my life, because
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't be here today without music. Like
Wow.
I
Wow.
live and breathe music, and it's been the one constant thing in my life that has, no matter how dark it's been, no matter how far out on the edge or the fringe I've been, music has always been that one thing that kept me from slipping over the edge.
Wow.
So that song was just kind of like, really great hearing it, because I think a lot of people feel that way, maybe not on the level that some others do, but
Absolutely.
and then track 5 made me laugh,
Uh-huh.
because having gone through a divorce last year, I was just kind of laughing, like, you know, because she still, a year later, she still tries to raise hell, and she still tries to
Okay.
stir shit up, and she thinks, she's so worried, like she doesn't want me to know where she lives, even though I already know, and I've
Mhm.
known all along, because she thinks I'm gonna go down there and beat up her boyfriend because she had an affair with him and ran off and all of that.
Oh shit. Oh,
And
now I see why you got your son.
I
Okay.
I told her, I told her, I said, why do you think that?
Hmm.
Well, just everything that's happened. You want revenge. And I was like, one, I really don't.
Right.
Because he showed me the kind of person you were. So he kind of did me a favor.
Okay.
I said, and two, and the biggest reason, I said, Heather, I got sole custody of my child.
There you go.
By doing that, I go to jail and I lose custody. And if you think that man is worth me losing my son over,
You're crazy,
you're out your rabbit ass mind.
huh?
I don't give a shit what you do. I really don't. Like, you take your circus, stay in Ohio,
Mhm.
leave me the hell alone, pay your little crap that the court ordered you to pay, and just move on. Like, I don't
Right.
care. And
Right.
she will just keep it going and insist that, oh, he's going to come down here. He's going to come down here. And I'm like, I'm really not, Heather. Like, I've had 2 years almost to do it, and I haven't left the state of Michigan. So you'd think after 2 years, she would realize, well, you're just waiting for the right time.
Right. Life goes on,
It's
right?
like, Heather, you were married to me for 13 years.
Okay.
You know, if I'm going to go after somebody, I don't wait around for it.
I hear you.
Excuse my language, but I'm a very, very spit shit or get the fuck off the pot type of guy.
I hear you.
I'm like, I go talk about it. I'm just going to do it.
Let's do it.
And that's got me in trouble most of my life. And that's why I said, no matter how far out on the fringe I was, music has always been that one thing that kind of pulled me back.
Well, I'm
And
glad "Music Saved My Soul" is one of those songs
yeah.
that touch your heart, and that's why I wrote it, because it's like me. Music saved my soul. I mean, recently I lost my mother to cancer 5 years
Oh,
ago, and
I'm sorry.
a lot of things have going on in my life. And she was a super supportive mother of my
Mm-hmm.
music career. All the shows. As a
That's
matter of fact,
awesome.
she did the photography for the album cover.
Mm.
'Cause she was an awesome photographer. And a lot of things went in life, death, things, jobs, loss, whatever. But music was always something that pulled me through. No matter what song I would put on, it would take me to a different place.
Mm-hmm.
So "Music Saved My Soul" is really it's an autobiography. It's an autobiography to anyone who chooses to listen to it. Like, that's your autobiography.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. I wrote it for people who literally had music pull them up by their boots and save their soul. Yeah, so it's deep.
Yeah, it's it's hard for me to describe sometimes, because music is really, it's almost kind of religious to me in a lot of ways. Like, it's one of them things. Like I said, it's been the one thing that's always been there for me.
Right.
And I kind of laugh at people, because I've met these people who, I only listen to country, or I only listen to hip hop, or I only listen to metal. And I'm like, don't you get bored with that? What do you mean? I couldn't listen
to one
to
genre.
one style of music. It's not in my DNA to do that. I have to have, it's like food.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, sometimes you're happy and you want to bop along, and that's reggae music. When you hear reggae, you can't listen to reggae and not be happy.
That's true.
you know and I'll challenge anybody on that. If you listen to reggae and you're not happy, then you ain't got a soul, because it's impossible.
Yeah.
Even the stuff like Shaba Ranks, which is darker, is still infinitely kind of happy music. The beat to it, and then metal can get you out of a dark spot. Country can be good for honky tonking and drinking, and jazz music when you just need to chill. And
Yeah.
And then you have bands like Pink Floyd that
I love Pink Floyd.
Are great for when I'm going to bed. I like to just turn the lights off and put on like Delicate Sound of Thunder,
Yeah.
because it just has that big, huge sound, and it just kind of, your brain can just kind of drift to it, and that's why I
I like
said
the
music is
art of
like food,
noise. Mm-hmm. That's right. Music is food. Music is soothing,
Yeah.
and it brings out so many emotions. That's why I love this field that I'm in. I love it, and I'm one that takes it seriously.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna write a song, I cannot do songs without verse, chorus, bridge, chorus out. That's a song. that it's a story in there. It's definitely a story in there. So when I write song, that's how I write it in a story, because it's literally a song is like a small book.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally a small book. You have to tell your story within 4 minutes tops. you know, and it's
Sometimes, I
yeah,
mean,
sometimes true. Sometimes that is true. But it could be happiness, it could be silliness, whatever it is. But that's what music is about for me. It tells a story, makes you feel good, makes you feel happy. It's our life. Definitely.
say Michael Arkerfield of Opeth likes to take 26 minutes to tell his story, but
Some people, yeah, some
that's
people take a
okay.
long
I
time.
mean,
Well,
first time
opera definitely they take forever. So
I mean, some bands I don't mind it, but when it just kind of becomes overly, I love
exaggerated.
Jeff Scott Soto. Jeff Scott Soto is one of my favorite singers.
Okay.
And when I seen Sons of Apollo, it's got Mike Portnoy and a Billy Sheehan on bass, and Bumblefoot on guitar, and
Right.
Derek Sherinian on keyboard. So it's this massive super group. And Billy was doing his bass solo, and his bass solo, it was into like 6, 7, 8, 9 minutes. And after about 4 minutes, I'm standing there like, okay, we get it, dude. You can play bass. Move on. It's like we don't need a 9-minute bass solo. Like, we get it. You're
Make your
famous.
point and go on.
You're awesome at bass. We get it. And he's every technique imaginable for bass.
Absolutely.
And it's like guitar solos are like that for me. It's kind of like, okay, I get it. You could play guitar. Like short, sweet, to the spot. And sometimes you don't need a solo for a song, and sometimes a solo makes the song. Some of the greatest songs are just built on monster riffs.
Yes.
Mississippi Queen, Sweet Home Alabama.
Oh man.
Rocky Like a Hurricane.
Oh, here I am, Rocky.
Yeah,
like
but when you hear that guitar riff, dan 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 dan, it's just it instantly, and there's so many great songs over the years that the riff before anything else, and that's what
that Minotaur hit me with your best shot.
exactly. Hell is for Children.
Oh yeah,
yeah. One song that I talk about all the time that I've never heard a cover of it, and I've always wanted somebody to do it, because I think it's so, with everything going on in today's environment and people's temperament, one song that Queen did that has never been covered, and I think it would be a massive opportunity for somebody to kind of use it as a positive thing. Queen did the song Don't Try Suicide.
What is it called?
Don't Try Suicide.
I think I heard that one. That wasn't a top hit, but I think I heard.
Yeah, it's kind of got that same kind of beat and bass riff, kind of like Another One Bites the Dust.
Okay.
But it's got that big Freddie vocal, don't try suicide, nobody likes it. Don't try suicide, nobody cares. And
I don't remember that one.
The message of it, again, being anti-suicide and anti-bullying, I can't help but think that, if somebody were to do that as a charity single or something,
right,
it would just be such a pertinent or relevant topic for today's everything going on.
Absolutely.
And
I'm gonna keep that in mind.
Yeah, like I've never heard anyone do it. I've heard so many covers of Dragon Attack and Bohemian Rhapsody and Another One Bites the Dust, and it's just like, yeah. And I've even heard a Flash Gordon cover, which was amazing because the band that did it so well.
Okay.
That Brian May personally, when he heard it, said it was the greatest thing he'd ever heard.
Oh, I gotta listen for this remake. I gotta check.
Yeah, it's by a band called The Lonely Ones.
The Lonely Ones, okay.
Yep. And it'll blow your mind. It sounds so much like the original. You'd swear to God that Queen was performing this song, and how they managed to get the guitar tone and every part of that song, vocally, everything like they did. It's mind-boggling, man, because when I heard they were covering it, I was kind of like, ooh, that's a
tough one, right?
That's a tall order right there, okay? Like, you didn't just randomly pick a Queen song. You picked one of the most thematically difficult
songs to play,
ones that they did, and they killed it, man. I was just blown away. And then they turned around on top of that about a month later and did the most brilliant cover of Hey You by Pink Floyd that I'd ever heard.
Okay.
And I was just like, damn, y'all are like just fucking great, man. And made me a fan for life. Like, I'm
gonna check those guys out, the Lonely Ones.
Yep, the Lonely Ones. So tell everyone, where do they find your music? Where do they find you on social media? Where do they find this record again, which is called Bright Fame?
Okay. Well, my album is out on iTunes. Okay. So you can go to iTunes, you can put up Rob Rise on Belief, and the album will come up, Bright Fame. It's on my website, which my website is www.com/RobRiseOnBelief. It's on Amazon. So it's on all I'm used to saying record stores.
Right.
Record store. It's all on internet music stores. All internet music stores. And definitely, because you can find it on my website, Rob Rise on Belief. You can look at it and go to my Facebook page, Rob Rise on Belief 1. Go to my Instagram page, Rob Rise, Instagram.com/Rob Rise on Belief. And even on Twitter, Twitter.com/Rob Rise on Belief. And also on what's the iCloud or not the iCloud? What is it? You see
iTunes? iTunes, Apple
Not
Music.
iTunes. Okay, I gotta wake up. I think I need some coffee right now at 9:23.
That's why I'm drinking Moon Mist.
Okay. Yeah, but it's on all music online stores, iTunes, my Facebook page, my website, Rob Rise on Belief, and so it's there. It's available, definitely.
It's on SoundCloud as well.
That's what it is. SoundCloud.
Yeah,
it's on SoundCloud as well.
Yeah, I was to say I got the other computer over on this side that I got everything all pulled up, and so what we're gonna do now, since we've talked about everything, we're gonna do this little thing I always do at the end of interviews It's called the Music Gods Random Questions of Stupidity. What these are is just a whole bunch of really fun icebreaker random questions that me and friends have come up with while doing just random stuff, sitting around eating dinner, drinking, watching football. Somebody will say something random, and you're just kind of like, that's a random question of stupidity, and it gets added to the list. And, you know, it could be anything under the sun. So,
one thing I want to say one thing that I didn't tell you, that I performed at the Apollo Theater.
Oh, okay, awesome.
That was a phenomenal show. I also did Webster Hall, Knitting Factory, SOBs, Arlene's Groceries. So I don't know. I'm sure you're familiar with those places. So I performed at all those places, throughout the city, and some in Philadelphia, and also in Dewey Beach Music Festival.
I've come to New York a number of times to haunt CBGBs over the years.
Okay.
And ended up other places that I don't really know the name of. It was just I kind of got drugged from one place to the other with friends. I'm friends with a number of, I won't say famous New York rock people, but recognizable people. Corey Clark, Warrior Soul. I'm good friends with Corey, and I've been drugged around New York a few times with Corey, getting into trouble. So his, I don't know if you've ever met Corey, but Corey is absolutely insane. In a good way.
Closed now, though.
But I've just dive bars and restaurants and diners, and you start out at 7:00, and before you know it, it's 4:00 in the morning, and you're like, I really need to get back to the hotel to sleep. And they're like, you can sleep when you're dead. And I'm like, no, I'm not 20 anymore, bro. Like, I'm 50 now. I gotta sleep.
Right.
But so the first question: what antiquated invention do you still use?
The record player.
Nice. Yeah, I got like an old school stereo. It's like a one-piece stereo from the 80s that it's got the double cassette, the record player,
because I don't want to get rid of it. That's I like listening to vinyl.
Yeah, exactly. Let me see. What's something you don't mind paying more money for?
What's something I don't mind paying more money for? Wow, that's a lot. Food. Food. I don't mind paying a lot more money for food and clothes.
Especially if it's good food.
Food and clothes.
I get into a lot of trouble with food because I see some of these people, and you just think to yourself, who the hell taught you? Like, were you brought up by wolves? Like,
right.
And I think sometimes they do stuff just to troll people to get a reaction because, they post these hack videos, or this is how you hack this or hack that. And you're like, no, like someone posted earlier, it was like, this is my new invention. It's a collard green pie.
Ew. Gross.
I was just like, that had to be a white woman. Had to be a white woman. And my friend was like, why do you say it's a white woman? Because ain't no self-respecting black person would ever let that atrocity slide. Like, that will get your ass kicked at the barbecue, okay? Like, that's just plain and simple. As a white boy, I'm gonna let you know, you bring that shit to a barbecue, you're getting your ass kicked, okay? Like, that was a white woman invention, okay? Ain't no black mama or auntie or grandma sat around and thought that shit up. Like, they just didn't, okay? If humans had a warning label, what would yours say?
A warning label on my okay.
If you had a warning label, if you came with a warning label, what would yours say?
Don't F with me.
All right. Do a couple of these. This is a section called Who Wins in a Fight?
Okay.
I'm going to give you two names, and you tell me who wins in a bare knuckle, anything goes fist fight.
All right.
So who wins in a fight between Fred Sanford and Mr. Furley?
Fred Sanford.
Gotta be Fred. Who wins in a fight between Archie Bunker and George Jefferson?
Oh my God, that's a tough one. I think that has to be a tie.
Last one of those. Who wins in a fight between Theo Huxtable and Eddie Winslow?
Eddie Winslow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've always said Eddie. Other people have said Theo, but Theo seemed too chill for me. Like Eddie,
that's it.
Eddie was chill, but Eddie was bigger, and he just seemed like he could be mean if he had to be. Like Eddie seemed like he had that streak in him that if you let it loose, and Theo was just kind of chill. Like he was all about girls. Chill guy.
He was very chill.
So I don't think he had that killer instinct that maybe Eddie had.
I can't see him fighting though.
Yeah. And these are just for anyone that these are just tongue-in-cheek, random. We've got all kinds of them. We've got Richie Rich versus Scrooge McDuck, and we got Chucky versus the Leprechaun, Captain Kirk versus
Chucky will beat the Leprechaun.
That would be a good one because the Leprechaun is evil too. The last one we're gonna do, and I'm gonna switch this one up.
Right.
Who would you least like to sit next to on a 5-hour plane trip?
Famous or anybody?
It could be anybody.
Who would least? Who would I like to sit to least in a 5-hour plane trip? Who? I'm trying to think. 5-hour plane trip. Okay. I'd say an anxious person, somebody with high anxiety. Mm-hmm. I can't take that.
Yeah. I've always said one of two answers. If it was just anybody random, it would be a racist person.
Oh well, yeah, of course.
Somebody like David Duke or somebody like that. But if it was a celebrity, it would absolutely have to be Seth Rogen, because there's just something about Seth Rogen that makes me want to stab myself in the face.
I like Seth Rogen. I actually like Seth Rogen. I like him.
I'm not a Seth. I love Kevin Smith. I like Silent Bob. I love most of the stuff that Seth has been in. Mm-hmm. But there's just something about Seth that just is kind of like.
I like him. I actually like Seth Rogen. He's good. He's cool with me.
That's okay. With that said, this is the Noize Report. This is Mr. Rob Rise on Belief. Check out his record. It is called Bright Fame. It is available everywhere. Track 4, track 5, track 7, all amazing tracks. Track 1, which is a song called When Susie Puts On Her Makeup, which is also amazing. It's a great opening track. Very high energy, a lot of different styles. You're going to hear some 80s influence like Huey Lewis. You're going to hear some Lenny Kravitz influence. You're going to hear some Spanish guitar, some blues riffs. There's a lot going on in this record. This is not your everyday radio pop record.
Thank you.
And that is what makes it so great to me.
Thank you,
So
CJ.
yes. So again, dude, thank you for being so patient with me and
Absolutely.
with everything that's happened. And it has been my honor to have you on here. Um, and I would love to have you back at some time to talk about more stuff and
Absolutely.
just,
I would
you
love
know,
to come back. I like your energy. You got a great radio person. I like your energy. We,
I
and we
just,
we were talking like we knew each other for years, right?
the one thing I kind of try to strive for in this
Right.
is I try to put some focus on what we're here for.
Yes.
But at the same time, I also realize, look, I'm sure as musicians, as actors, you guys get the, tell me about the record. Are you going to tour? What were your influences?
Absolutely.
And I'm sure you guys get sick of answering the same 10 questions.
Yes.
So I try to mix it up and I try to make it funny and I try to just make it different and interactive to the point where it does feel like if we were sitting around in a sports bar eating wings and drinking a beer, it's got that same kind of energy, that. And sometimes you fail, but sometimes, or a lot of times, it really kind of,
You hit it out the box, right?
that's what I strive for and that's what I do. And I have been told that's what people love about my style is
Yeah.
kind of like Queen. You really don't know what's going to happen because I wing everything, bro. Like I don't write questions down.
That's cool.
I write little basic, like little, just a little crib note.
Right, right,
And
right.
after that, it just goes where it goes.
It
And
makes it authentic.
yeah, so with that said, again, thank you to Rob for doing this. And we're going to end with your typical thing. You know where how it goes. Be well, treat each other with kindness. And remember, no matter where you're at, how dark it is, music heals.
That's right. I like that. Thank you. Thank you for having me
You're,
on, CJ.